Have you guys ever heard of a situation where a Sasaeng fan tries to ruin the careers of the artist that they're a fan of? Doesn't that destroy the very point of their existence? Isn't that like hitting yourself in the face? NCT's Haechan held a live stream to chat with fans on his birthday, and while most of it was pretty lighthearted, at one point he got serious and talked about the people who stalk their dorms. And I'm pretty sure he brought it up because there were some out there stalking as he spoke. Anyway, I guess these fans didn't appreciate him calling them out and tried to expose him by posting alleged photos of him drunk after a night out. On the street, allegedly there's a photo of Do-young helping him out. Do-young, who by the way is definitely not scared of Sasaeng fans and will take pictures of them instead. It's just so crazy that these fans claim to love their idols so much, then turn around and make their lives a living elevator. And in this case, they said, oh yeah, we love you so much, we're gonna ruin your career. Either hoping people would make a big deal of him going out, although there's no way to know when these pictures were taken or if it's even them in those blurry pictures, or although he wasn't driving, maybe they were hoping it would get criticized because of it being not so long after the AB6IX situation. The other day we talked about AB6IX's leader Jeongyeon getting a DUI, and now it looks like one of the ramifications of that is he is no longer a part of AB6IX. Brand New Music said in their statement that after careful discussion, Jeongyeon has decided to leave the group as to no longer cause harm to the other members. They apologized to fans for the sudden news, but I think most people saw this coming. They are very early into their careers and have been quite successful so far. In order to keep that momentum going, I guess they didn't want to distract from anything they do moving forward. Because it's like we said in the last video, nobody defended his actions. It was a matter of, are you willing and able to forgive him? And that is different for everyone depending on if driving under the influence has ever irreparably affected your life or anyone around you. Another ramification of this situation is that they now have to redo and reorganize their entire comeback. They've redistributed and re-recorded all 6 tracks with only mixing and mastering left to do. They've reorganized the choreography. They are revisiting the physical albums, and think about it, that's photo cards, posters, album designs, and all the other merchandise. Lastly, they said they can't re-record the music video, so they will be doing their best to minimize Jeongyeon's screen time. While a lot of fans are obviously not happy about the entire situation, I've seen a lot of praise for Brand New Music being so transparent during this whole predicament. Their statement basically broke down everything they've been doing behind the scenes, and it's not surprising if you remember this is the same company and CEO who looked at the guy's trainee debt and said, forget about it. It is not easy nor is it cheap to go back and change things you've already spent so much money on. Label V and SM Entertainment are having to do the same thing with WayV's Awaken the World album after fans noticed that in their teaser photos, there is a historically derogatory Japanese slur and pins that mention the dangerous chemical agents used in the Vietnam War that caused health defects and birth defects that may even be seen to this day. After this was pointed out, the company apologized for their quote careless mistake and will meticulously check even the smallest props and accessories from now on. They re-uploaded the photos without those elements, as well as announced that they will be delaying the physical album to make adjustments to the images within it. Again, that means the company has to go through photo books, photo cards, things that may have already been printed, probably re-edit them, reprint them. It's not a cheap process, so hopefully this really ingrains it into their process to be more thorough. I don't know, when these things happen, do you think to yourself, with all of the eyes and departments that this had to have gone through before approval, do you think they didn't see it or didn't care? Like how NCT Dream's Jaemin was excluded from one of the digital versions of the album cover, but the weird thing is that he was on the physical album. So did someone edit him out, or did someone send the digital cover out before they were able to finish? How does this happen? Twice fans were wondering the same thing this week about Jeongyeon. In the beginning of the week, they performed on M Countdown. The full fan cam was released, and then the individual fan cams were released as usual. But then people noticed, they forgot Jeongyeon. Nah, they're gonna release it. They have to, right? Okay, they still haven't. Well, then the girls performed on Inkigayo. Same thing, fan cams were released, but they forgot Jeongyeon too. What the elevator is going on, man? This can't be some kind of coincidence, and as fans understandably began to get upset for the neglect of Jeongyeon, still nothing came out. Well, she finally went on V Live and clarified that she's been suffering from a neck injury since filming their music video. She went to the doctors, got diagnosed with a herniated disc. Apparently she even had a procedure done, which definitely explains why she's been seen wearing a neck brace. And she was the one, with JYP Entertainment, who requested the broadcasting companies to not release her individual fan cams because she didn't want to show an imperfect performance. And if you're wondering why, well, we've seen in the past that people will jump on anything they can get their hands on. Just ask poor Leah, who got criticized for the way she danced on a radio show. A radio show where you just listen. Oh, don't get me started on that nonsense again. Anyway, she wanted to keep the injury on the down low, but didn't want the networks to get blamed for excluding her. And I'm very surprised those networks didn't publicize her injury and request just to save their own butts. Have to give them props for that. Also have to give props to BTS and Big Hit, who didn't initially intend to publicize how much they were donating to the Black Lives Matter cause. Well, eventually Variety were able to get a confirmation that BTS and Big Hit donated $1 million. What makes this story even more incredible is that in support of that, fans collectively matched that donation, surpassing their $1 million goal under 24 hours. The money is going to many different organizations, not just one. That's incredible. It also shows why it's so important that K-pop artists get involved in the conversation, which many of them have. It also starts the conversation about discrimination within the Korean entertainment industry itself. Like CL said, even if you feel there is no connection, there is one. That artists, directors, writers, dancers, designers, producers, and stylists in the K-pop industry have all been inspired by Black culture in some way, big, small, directly or indirectly. And neglecting that is like, well, it's like hitting yourself in the face.